Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are around this beautiful planet of ours. As for me, I've had a fantastic morning, getting the sweat on, spent time with loved ones, got a good breakfast in. I hope you're doing the same thing. Today's video, I'm extremely excited. I've not even had a coffee and it is 1:30 p.m. Bitcoin, is the trap validated or invalidated? Ethereum merge, sell the news event, crypto selling off. We'll take a look at that in the charts. I know it can sound like a FUD title, but don't worry. We're really just trying to understand the risk and reward, preparing for our portfolios. As always, I love to hear your comments in the comment section down below, especially a big thanks to yesterday's video as well. Some great comments there. So if you haven't already, smash up that subscribe button. I know 70% of you have, so I'm talking just to the minority here. And of course, like the video up. I'll also remind you at the end of the video, but thank you to you guys who are liking and subscribing even when you're already here, video after video after video. The big question that came up was around Bitcoin and the invalidation of the signal. So is it invalidated? We're looking at these pump traps as we saw on yesterday's video. Is it too late? Is the trap happening? That sort of thing. Okay, so yesterday's daily bar closed above the 50% level, 21,870. So for this video, I'm just going to say 21,900 or just under 22,000 for some round numbers. You can see we had 1 to 3 days getting up to that level. It was really trying to test and break above it. Of course, there was previous resistance there. The 50% is an amazing tool. It helps me identify trends. It helps me understand whether we're in a strong position or a weak position. And in this case, we're currently sitting in a strong position. We're on a daily chart and we're starting to push that a little bit higher. This is for Bitcoin, all right? But as for cryptos, I'll show you in a sec where I'm looking at some of these are selling off. And sometimes this takes time, days, maybe weeks. But we just don't want to get caught at the top with those FOMO ideas about these coins going to the moon, all right? That's pretty much what I do 24/7 with my portfolios. I don't want to get caught in these pump traps. Now, one big thing we have coming up this week, just in a couple of days' time, is our premium masterclass on trading. So it's understanding the overbalance in price and time. This is something that I used on the channel to understand the bear market or bull market flip for the S&P, which of course carries basically all of the other markets around the world. We were watching this as the market rose, looking for the overbalance in price and time to give us that first checklist item to say, look, the bear market isn't over just yet, but we have a very strong macro signal to tell us that things aren't as bad as the media is making out. It's still going on, and I still see comments from people saying, just go and take a step outside, the economy is crashing, things are heading to the gutters, just wait till winter comes in Europe, etc., 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 etc. Any other news headlines, just dump it down there below. But for some reason, the markets are telling us a different story. Now, of course, the lows can go slightly lower. Maybe we get wicks lower, but let's look at where the weeklies close, which is basically the macro scale here. The higher low, this is the S&P. We're getting this move pump in right now. Doesn't mean we can't go a little bit lower, but we do have some bases forming at the moment with all of this bad news. This is crazy how often it happens and how often retail and even smart money, well, once was smart money, gets left behind when these trends change. So this is something that we're going through in specific detail to understand these big trend changing moves, and you can use them on small term timeframes as well for your trading in this week's masterclass with the Investor Accelerator. So drop your name and email address. Link is in the top of the video description. This is for the free newsletter. You'll get that come out and you can make your decision there if you want to come and join it on Thursday. It includes over 30 hours of course content. We also have weekly live group calls where people ask Q&As, and also for the premium members, a Discord community going through trading and investing as well. So hopefully we see you guys over there. So this was basically the overbalance in price. The same sort of thing is what we are applying to Bitcoin and Ethereum. We can apply it to any market to give us an idea of the strength in those markets. People were asking about the volume on crypto exchanges. Binance in particular, we're seeing a lot of volume there. Some of these exchanges are doing promos at the moment. Binance in particular is doing 0% trading fees, so they're starting to get a lot of energy, a lot more volume come through their markets. As for our channel sponsors, Bybit, they're also doing 0% on all spot pairs as well. So it's a battle at the moment between exchanges to get your business to be trading on those exchanges. I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's a business. if you're using an exchange, you want that exchange to be profitable. You want them to survive because you have your crypto on there. Well, I have some of my crypto on there, not all of it. But if we're trading on them, we want those exchanges to be strong and liquid and going to be around for the bear market and the bull market. So I know people get triggered at exchanges, but personally, I would rather have an exchange that I feel is stronger out there in the marketplace and is showing signs of remaining there through the next market. Anything can happen. This is cryptocurrency, but I want a strong exchange. They got to do what they got to do. 0% at the moment to try and gather that business. So that was the first thing that came up through those comments. ETH merge, 2 days to go. 1 day, 20 hours, 54 minutes. What does this look like here in cryptocurrency? Well, the 50% level has just broken down over the last 24 hours. The tops here were around just short of $1,800. So looking at ETH, the trap is if we can't get back above the 50% and we start to break some other support and resistance levels, then this of course means it was a sell the event type of announcement. The merge, we're getting lower prices coming into it. We're 2 days out. We're getting a drop on ETH USD. Is the sell-off going to continue? The only thing I can see holding up ETH USD is, of course, the Bitcoin price, because the Bitcoin is still quite strong. So I'll come back to Bitcoin, but let's finish up on ETH. The sell-off is almost on cue, like I mentioned here on Twitter. A link to this is in the video description. ETH BTC has started to tank. It has been multiple days now. This whole week has been down. We covered this yesterday where the weekly close was underneath the previous swing top, and it's showing a lot of weakness here where it's underneath the previous top that ran into that pump in May of 2021. So that was basically the peak of the bull market. So we're currently hanging underneath those levels. We're hanging underneath the close here. This is a yellow line, and we still have 5 days, nearly 6 days left on the week. Of course, this is the macro time frame, but we really need to see ETH by the end of the week start to close a little higher. We need to get back above 8.2%. Otherwise, we could churn around here and start to head lower, and this continues with the sell-off. So like I've got in the title here, looking something around, crypto sell-off, what can stop it? For me, the key level is this swing bottom at 7.2% on the ETH BTC chart, because a lot of cryptos are following this, not all of them, of course, but ETH being one of the biggest cryptocurrencies, we need to see some sign of support against BTC. Otherwise, cryptos start to all sell off, and that then all leads into the Bitcoin dominance, which is currently showing a bounce at the moment, which could be a minor Bitcoin season here. We saw one going back in May of 2022, just into June. Even though the prices were basically starting to come down, the money started to flow back into Bitcoin. So even if the prices come down, the money can still flow back into Bitcoin, or Bitcoin basically just hold its ground compared to the rest of cryptocurrencies. And the reason why that's important is we don't want to see our entire portfolios just bleed away again against BTC value and USD value. So at the moment, BTC dominance dropped over the last several weeks, probably based on the early was stablecoin takeover, and then was the ETH merge. That was all the ETH merge news that was taking away share from Bitcoin. But now we've seen a 1, 2, 3, 4 bottom here. So a quadruple bottom, and Bitcoin is starting to bounce away at a pretty strong rate. You can still see the downtrend here it has to overcome. So nothing is really that confirmed for a big season of Bitcoin dominance. And I think overall, long term here, the dominance will continue to fall because more cryptos are coming to the market. ETH is possibly taking over more market share. And that's basically what has happened to Bitcoin over its entire history. It just is happening because more money is coming into the space and going into different sectors. So tying all of that analysis together, Bitcoin dominance, ETH BTC, ETH USD, and Bitcoin on the short term, and what that means to the upcoming few days, ETH needs to hold its ground above 1700 and ideally get back above 1800. They're the swing tops. That's where ETH has to go for that sign of strength. Otherwise, we start to break down and then head towards 1420 to 1520. So that's basically the last support zone, and that's what I think, so I've got somewhere in the title, what can stop this, a support zone from ETH at around 14 to 1520 plus on the ETH BTC chart, holding up at 7.2% and not bleeding down further against ETH BTC value. Because generally when that happens, the rest of cryptocurrencies also bleed out against their Bitcoin value, and that starts to head over to Bitcoin, even if the price remains relatively stable, that's when that bleed begins to really take more of an effect. Like I said, it's not happening across every crypto right now. We've still got a couple of days left on this merge. Investors have talked about hedging their bets with other layer 1 projects, but I believe if ETH does break down here, we're probably not going to see a lot of strength come through to the others. They might hold ground, but I don't think we're going to see those pumps if ETH also starts to break down. So that's what I got for the summary of ETH and what I'm expecting over the next few days. Let's continue to track it on the channel, so make sure you have subscribed, like the video. Let's kick back to Bitcoin and the macro move here. If we continue to get this upside and the trap being completely invalidated. So far, I've had 1 day close above. We obviously need a little more time above here to consolidate and then start to push above the Wyckoff flip bar. So this is the exciting part here. If Bitcoin can get above 23,200, hold above there, then I would say that this is starting to lean far more towards the strength in that medium term. For a healthy move, we have to see some market pullback. We have to see it. If we're going to be healthy in the uptrend, there has to be some profit taking here so that we can start to move up again. The danger is if we get the profit taking and the market comes back underneath 21,900 and we start to break down again, that's the danger, and then puts these previous levels in danger as well, 18.5, and then other support zone at around 20,500, 20,700. The healthy thing here is if we do get some wicks down and then some closes back above 21.9. So 21.9 is really coming into play now as the danger or safety zone. So keep an eye on 21,900. For now, the trap has been invalidated for the short term. That's great. We can look to some more long side, but for the medium and long term, we're still not there yet because, as always, we need to see some closes above key levels on the weekly chart, and the weekly is due in about 6 days' time. Bitcoin on the macro is putting in a higher low at this point, and looking at the downtrends, we are now coming up to the next downtrend here. We're still not at the major market, bear market downtrend yet, but at least from the previous top to the current top here in August, we're trying to break through that. So that's some good signs. If we take it back to the previous top in May as well, the speed of the downtrend is slowing, which is what we have been expecting and what we're waiting for, especially with some lows coming in, some higher lows forming, the old Wyckoff accumulation here with the little double bottom in play, a nice bounce away. This is what we want to see within this period of the low, the base forming. Remember, it can go a little lower, but in my opinion, I don't think it's going to be anything that significant now. I don't think we're going to see prices break $10,000. And as I've been talking about with our members, TIA Premium, just another shout out there, posting to them about where I've been buying around the 19 and the 18.5K level based on the cycle buy zones that I've been showing here on the channel. I'm just sort of sticking to that plan. So anywhere between that 11.5 to 19.5, 20,000, I think is going to be a pretty good buy zone for the upcoming bull market. So I'm not waiting here for levels of 13 or 14K. Call me stupid, whatever you want. But in terms of a reward risk, I think this is a pretty good play. Call it 10 to 20K for round numbers, looking to the upside of previous tops, 60, 70K, 90K, 100K. The return is still there compared to other markets, which is why I've been buying in here and posting it to the members. So if you want to get involved in that and join us on the monthly masterclass, go and hit that link in the top of the video description, drop your name and email address down there, join our newsletter. We'll post this out within the next 12 hours. So you've got the coupon codes there to use. I'll see you guys at the next video. But until then, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you at the next video. Peace out.